Hi everyone, I'm Dirk Hermans from KBC, and I'm going to provide you an expert session on blockchain cryptocurrencies, more in detailed programmable money, and this has relationship to payments. Now let's dive a little bit into the history. What is payments? How is it constructed? What are the limitations of payments today? Payments is something that exists for a very, very long time, almost more than 50 years. So all the existing infrastructure is built on what we knew back then. And as you can see here in the picture, this is a picture that is also, you can see it on the pixelation, about 50 years old. This is the mechanism of doing payments. A customer that wants to pay a business has to pass via his bank, via, for instance, a payment card, an electronic payment provider, an intermediary, that will manage that all the accounting flows will happen between the banks. You see also on the right the secondary audit point, regulatory authority who wants to see that everything goes very well. Because there are multiple parties, multiple systems, there are always some kinds of risks. Now, if we switch to blockchain, what is blockchain? Blockchain gives you the ability to do a peer-to-peer transaction without intermediary, using the cryptography, the hashing where the blocks transactions are included into blocks which are added to the blockchain and creates an immutable trail also of the transaction of which proof of ownership can be shown. Now, if we break it down into the benefits, blockchain means this is distributed. The nodes where all the transactions are distributed amongst multiple parties. You can have disintermediation. So because if you have the node that is connected to each party, you don't need an intermediary, so your payment flows can go more efficient. You create an immutable history, immutability of history. You have an audit trail provided by the blockchain which cannot be broken. And of course the most important part is the digital asset management, because you can create a digital twin, you can create a euro on blockchain which can then change ownership, which is protected by the blockchain. So these are, in short, the benefits. Now, one important aspect and the key to everything is the private key in blockchain, because that's the way how transactions are signed. And you have a public key which is known for everybody in the blockchain space. You have a public key which you only know, and you have to sign a transaction. So that's a very important part that you will have to manage to create a transaction. That will pop up somewhere later in the session. Now, if we look at the differences then, with traditional payments we work on an account model where we have external links for creating the payment. You have a business transaction at the one hand and you have a payment transaction on the other hand, so you create two transactions which you have to reconcile, of course, at the end of every transaction. If you look at the blockchain side and you have a business transaction which is recorded on the blockchain and also a coin on the blockchain, you can, with smart contracts, create programmable money. You can create conditions to the money, to the payment, so that your execution of your business transaction goes much smoother in one go, with less reconciliation, less administration, less corrections to do, with a higher level of confidence also towards the authorities, because it cannot be tampered with. You have an audit trail. So it's a very powerful system, and that's what we are exploring at KBC, have been exploring for 6 years, and now we went into production with our Gatecoin, which is one of the cases that I will touch upon. Now, one last thing before we continue is that you have to see at the difference between public blockchain and private blockchain. Public blockchain, these are the things where Bitcoin, Ethereum is happening. Everybody can see the transactions, everybody can run a node, everybody can participate in the blockchain. For reasons today, because we are a regulated entity, we have regulations to comply with, such as GDPR. We will use a private blockchain. So we are working on a private blockchain where all the parties are known. That does not mean that we are not distributed, because we want the blockchain node also hosted outside of KBC, so that not KBC can be a central administrator, but all the parties are involved, and we can only change things to the blockchain if all the parties agree that this change will happen. So we're working on the private blockchain space, which is also important for the next steps. If we look at the challenges for creating such a project on blockchain, we see three main parts. One of them is technical. I will not go into that in this session. The other two are business related. Of course, regulation is very important in the financial industry. And secondly, business-wise, we also have to define what we want to do, what the product proposition is, how we want to put it into the market. So this for the general introduction, what it is about. Now let's dive into the programmable money part. What is programmable money? It's actually money with conditions. And take an example. If you have a green investment that you want to do, and you have money that you can only pay for green investments, if the amount is for a green investment, then it will automatically be paid. So it's a condition that is attached to a coin. What we've built is a backbone on which we can serve multiple use cases. The backbone will create the euros onto the blockchain, which you can program into coins. You can have wallets where the coins are stored. You have smart contracts to define the programmability and to execute the transactions. On top of that, you can have different use cases. So it's a generic backbone, not only for KBC Belgium, but also for KBC Czech Republic and other countries in the group. We have two models if we work with the Kate coin. One is the Kate coin that we use internal KBC. It's more like a reward system. So that's what we want to use within KBC and the KBC ecosystem. The second one is a white labeled coin. There we can, on request of companies that want to put a business proposition into the market, we can create a coin for them and also brand it for them to use in their ecosystem. So let's take an example for both of them. The first one, the Kate coin. We as KBC, we want to reward our customers that are using KBC products, and we can reward them coins which they can then use to again buy KBC products. This is an example of how it will look like when we go live. You have different ways to earn coins. You ask a question to Kate, our digital assistant, or you take a mortgage loan, you get Kate coins. If you, and you see there in the red spot, if you open a KBC Plus account, you get 10 coins, but this is a red spot, and you see on the right, they are specific. So you can only spend them on an internet insurance. So here we apply the programmability. Yes, we reward our customers for a specific action, but we also ask them, okay, we can then use this benefit for a particular product. So this is something that we want to achieve also as KBC. It's not a pure loyalty program. We want to also as KBC benefit from that to put products into promotion, into the spotlights, and to take the customer's attention to a specific product. Now, what are the challenges if you start with this project? First, what is the rule of the coin? If you know the public blockchain space, you have coins that have a variable rate where you can get some speculation. Here, we have to define also what do we want to do. We want to get as close as possible to payments, so we create a coin with €1 and which cannot be volatile. We can define validity dates, but what's the expiry date of a coin? Is it 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years? Also something to think about. Also whether it's transferable or not. Can I transfer it within my family, or can I transfer it to friends? Is it specific or not? Can you use it for multiple products, or is it only for one of the products? These are all business questions. Business management has to decide what do we want to achieve together with marketing, together with the sales organization. How do we want to use this coin, these mechanisms to create loyalty in customers, to reward them, to attract them to new products, to get extra revenue for KBC in selling products. And that depends on what you want to achieve. That's a pure business challenge. That's not a technical challenge. We provide the means to steer and to program, but the business has to decide themselves where they want to go. Second challenge, which cases do we give coins for getting a mortgage loan? How many coins should we give? Which behavior do we want to stimulate by using more Kate, or by opening the mobile app, or by filling in some risk profile because we are missing data? So we can steer on that way. We can define how we want to give coins, and we can help the customer, but the customer can also help us. We have to define the period, how long do we let a case be valid to earn coins, the behavioral which I mentioned, what do we want them to do, also the earn versus spend, where can they spend their coins on. Until there we have business management to decide what do we want to achieve. Next to that, and it's not on here, it's also regulatory, because we have in Belgium the laws of tied sales. We cannot promote certain products which are combined with another product, so we have to be also in line here with regulation. Third challenge, how to issue money on blockchain. You need a collateral account. We as KBC, we promise that the money is safe. The money is safe with us, and for each euro that we receive on a collateral account, we will issue a coin on blockchain. We will have to check that these two are in sync, but once the coin is on the blockchain, it's in a closed loop environment. So you can do more transactions within the blockchain. But of course, you also have to see what are the accounting rules, what are tax rules, what's the legal qualification of the coin, is it e-money or not, is it an exception under PSD2 of a limited network or not. These are things that we will have to find out. So we're working together with a lot of departments within the bank to define something that is legally sound for the user. Then the white labeled coin. Also here we have some challenges. If you look at Flex, let me zoom in the case first. Flex is flexible checks for customized tax-friendly salary. So that is the extra salary that you get on top of your salary, which can be tax-friendly and which can be spent on different products. What we know already in Belgium is, for instance, the meal vouchers is what you get to get food. We also have the eco voucher for eco-friendly products. But Flex wants to go further. They want to create something where they can give the opportunity to the employees, to the employers, to program a coin to give to their employees. And that can vary in a lot of ways. And you have typically the food-only checks, but for instance, with Corona, we all had to work from home. It could be that an employer wants to give a bonus and says, okay, you get a bonus to work from home, but we want you to spend 50% on home working materials, like an office chair or a screen or a keyboard. That has to be validated also by the tax authorities, and then you cannot spend more than 50% on non-home office related items, such as shoes or food or whatever. That's programmed into the coin, so you can only do those things with it. These are some screenshots. You can see where you can spend the coin. In the middle one, you have the different types of bonuses that could be provided. And you have your wallet within the app. Challenges here. The wallet, as I said, the private key is something very important. Where is the private key? Today we have chosen for the option that KBC is the guardian of your private key. This means that you cannot decide to put your coins in another wallet. We also have to look at how do you sign a transaction. It has to be secure. So we ask from Flex, the third party, to apply some security standards in their app. We have to know who is signing. So first, the user will have to onboard. We will use It's Me for that to know who it is. Also under PSD2, we're working with under the exception of the limited network, which means that you don't need strong customer authentication and two-factor authentication. So this gives us some room there. And we all have to find this out. How does this work with coins? It's not a traditional payment. We have to collaborate with legal, with compliance, also with the owner of the app, because they have to apply security standards. They have to build in the wallet, which comes to retrieve the balance at the KBC blockchain. And they also will have a node so they can connect to their side also to sign a transaction. So these are things that we had to find out with the wallet. Secondly, the coin condition. If you say you can only use the coins for an office chair, you have to know that it's an office chair. We're working together with a website which has products, so it's not an in-store buying, but a website buying. So you have to work together with the website provider to see, okay, can you pass me the item? But then if you have the item, how do you know whether it's eligible for that specific coin? So there our partner has to define these products which are linked to a typical category. For instance, the homeworking material has to make those links to be able to validate whether it's a valid purchase or not. So again, we have to work together with the partner, with the tax authorities, because they have to agree, also with legal and compliance, because in terms of GDPR there's a lot of information passing over the line on what is bought. This is business content. Is that the responsibility of our partner, and are they a data processor, or we a data processor? These are all things that we have to find out, and where we see, okay, we are a joint processor, but we have to define where the data will be stored. With blockchain, you can make it possible with the technology that we use, that you have private collections of data, that the data is at the partner's node, but not at KBC, so that we don't see all this information. And then a third challenge, the acceptance of a coin. On a website you can use a QR code. That is possible if the website provider changes the website in order to have this payment mean and provide the QR code. But what in store, if you go to a store, we have the typical payments landscape today, where you have this point of sales device where you have to put in your card. We don't have a card here. We have a wallet on a mobile app. So the current payments landscape is not foreseen for that. So we will have to see how we will integrate with that, how we will collaborate within the industry, financial partners, but also the retail providers. Okay, if we want this coin to be accepted in the stores, there also needs to be changes on their side. Today we're not there yet, so that's still something that we have to find out, which is of course also an interesting business challenge to achieve that, because there has to be a win for everybody. So once again, back on the backbone that I explained. Now if we summarize it, you can see we have the business side, we have the regulatory side, we have the technical side. I didn't go into the technical side, but of course also that is important. It has to be scalable, it has to be robust, it has to be correct. It's about payments. We have to process a lot of volumes. We need to be able to program it. It has to be interoperable, because we have to connect to other systems. On business side, we want an open ecosystem. We don't want all the nodes with KBC. The business partner will have to provide a node, and they have to process the business transaction. We want something that is transparent and user-friendly, that you see where your coins are in the app. And on the regulatory side, we as KBC, we are a trusted issuer. We comply with regulation. We have to apply privacy, and everything has to be regulatory sound. So a lot of challenges. Journey about, I think it took 1.5 years, working together with a lot of departments within the bank, regulatory, finance, but also outside of the bank with our partners, where we want to put the product into the market. So this opened because blockchain is an ecosystem solution. It is about collaboration, because you don't have all the nodes with you. They participate in the blockchain ecosystem, so you have to collaborate within multiple sectors, and that makes it very compelling to it's not a hard and not an easy way, so it's hard times, but we're changing the world. So this is very exciting. So I hope I learned you something with this expert session, and good luck for the rest of the program. Thank you.